Let's imagine, for a second, that the Terminator was real. We all know the Terminator. It's a 1984 action film about an AI created for military use that turns rogue and sends out robots and kills all the humans. It's total science fiction, but the parallels to our own world are uncanny, with AI slowly getting more and more integrated into our daily lives.
I feel like we're sort of living in a science fiction world. I think parts of AI are very exciting, but I think other parts are very scary, and there's a lot of consequences, and it feels like people are sort of embracing it very quickly without thinking through everything.
I have this negative correlation with AI. I always think of like the Will Smith movie, I, Robot, where robots take over the world, and it doesn't really lead to good. So I see students using it every day, almost in every class. And in some ways, it's a great resource to use, especially when we're helping generate things like study guides. It can be an amazing resource, things that students already know how to do. It gets a little tricky when students are using it as like a quick fix to a problem that they don't completely understand the steps to solving yet, because they're never going to actually learn those steps if they're having AI do it for them.
I'm pretty willing to use AI. It kind of depends on the circumstances. If I'm taking a test, of course I'm not going to use AI. But if I'm just doing classwork, I will be using AI.
If it's like something that I can't figure out and it's been tapping at me for a little while, I'd use it then.
I don't see the learning that's happening with it. I just see it as like a shortcut to get something done, but that is definitely impacting their learning. But when you don't know how to recognize good writing, facts, then I feel like you're not actually learning anything and you might be perpetuating bad information.
I understand the convenience of how much faster we can get to outcomes or how much more we might be able to create in our tiny opportunity to do so in a very little life. I don't ever want, as an artist, to be reliant on something that I don't understand, because then it controls my decisions.
The whole point of being here is to learn, and part of learning involves friction. So it's difficult. Research is difficult. The writing process is never done.
It's really easy for both students and teachers to avoid the critical thinking parts of learning.
It's all well and good to say, oh, I can have ChatGPT, write that speech for me. But if it's the eulogy at a parent's funeral, you don't want a computer to tell you what to say.
The first thing that comes to mind for me are those generative platforms that we're all really familiar with. ChatGPT is the catch-all phrase for AI in general, and so I think that's usually what I think about, like the chatbots that people are interacting with.
It's a new, very exciting, emerging new technology, but with anything new, we need to kind of look at it not with fear, but with a lot of awareness.
We're on social media all day, and it's giving us dopamine hits in these small 8 to 20 second bursts, and we can just scroll as much as we want to see things that are interesting to us. And then we've got generative AI that gives us content that gets around us having to do hard, heavy lifting work, and it also praises us and tells us how smart we are to ask these questions and what great insights we have. And I think that overall it's just really decreasing our capacity as a society to do hard things.
I feel like social media should be a tool to bring people together. In theory, you can connect with anyone from anywhere, but these days it feels like there's a lot of content that just turns out to be fake. These AI chatbots like ChatGPT, Meta AI, Grok, all the bots on the internet, they're simulating human behavior. And that's the root of the social issue, is that the simulation is separating real users from real interactions.
Because I teach environmental science and I've been studying environmental science for so long, I have a lot of hesitation.
My knowledge is that it requires a lot of power to be able to type in something, have it pull from all the various sources, and then spit it back at you.
It is extremely resource intensive, and a lot of times the servers that generate AI content are intentionally placed in communities that struggle with access to those resources.
AI consumes massive amounts of water for cooling data centers.
We have problems where people, even in our own country, don't have clean water, even in our own state.
One piece in particular that also gets kind of lost in that is the construction of the data centers in the first place. And the construction of that requires a lot of building materials, concrete, which is also energy intensive.
As a teacher who teaches government and politics, I think that that's concerning, that this technology comes at the expense of already underserved communities, and that it is a drain on resources.
I think that this is an opportunity where teachers and educators really need to sort of rethink what school is and how to prepare you guys for the world out there.
In a way, education in general needs an overhaul. We kind of think of it as a transactional thing, like a student does a task, they get a grade in response to it. And so because we've devalued the learning piece of it as a society, it makes it easier for students to look for these shortcuts.
You will be using AI, but I feel like we have to go through a time where you kind of don't use it so then you can recognize when it's good and when it's bad.